Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to RALLYTOP Investing, and welcome back to the second edition of our Let's Analyze Together. But before we go into our analysis today, let's check the news calendar, and that will take us to TradingView to check for the news calendar. Now, as you can see on TradingView, Forex Factory. I don't know why I said TradingView. Now, on Forex Factory, our news calendar for this week, you can see that from Monday through Friday, we have high impact news every day of this week. All right, high impact news from Monday through Friday. For instance, on Monday, we have news coming from United States. On Tuesday, we have news coming from Australia. And the same Tuesday, we have news coming from United States. We have news on that Tuesday coming from New Zealand. On Wednesday, we have news coming from United States. And on Thursday, we have news coming from the United Kingdom. And then on Friday, we have high impact news coming from Canada and United States. Alright guys, so the week is littered with high impact news. Do well to check the news event before you go into trading this week. Now, let me advise that if you must trade this week, please go for the setup that makes sense. That is, you need to go for the highest probable setup. Alright? Don't just go into the market anyhow. Alright? Because of this news. Now, with that being said, let's go straight into our analysis today. Okay? We are starting off with DXY. Starting off with DXY weekly time frame. Now, as you can see, on the weekly time frame of DXY, for 4 straight weeks, DXY has been rallying up strongly for 4 straight weeks. All right, as you can see. All right, and since we don't have a clear demand zone that we want to wait for price to retrace into, we want to go to the daily, but weekly is clearly bullish. All right, that's what we want to establish. Now, on the daily time frame, okay, we have a break of structure here on the daily time frame. As you can see, there is a break of structure there. All right, leaving this very OB here, this daily point of interest. All right, in this daily point of interest there. So that's what we are seeing on daily, and so therefore we want to see price rotate back down into this daily demand zone before we see any further push to the upside. All right, so that's what we are expecting from the daily time frame of DXY. Now, but let's get to the H4 time frame and see what it holds. Now on the H4, you can see clearly here, all right, that price violated the structure here to the upside. All right, look at it. There is a break of structure there. Now, just like on the daily time frame, on the H4, you have this point of interest sitting just here. Can you see that, guys? This point of interest here. Now, this point of interest is key. Why? Well, it is likely that price might react off of this point of interest. The reason being that the US dollar is very, very strong. The momentum of US dollar is very strong. And when you have strong momentum in the market, you will often find price do a shallow retracement before continuing in the direction of the overall trend. All right, but if in case this fails. So what we are saying is that we are going to see price. If this zone should hold, we want to see price, all right, rally up to break this structure high here to the upside. All right, that's what we want to see. But in the event of that not happening, okay, we have seen another point of interest here, the H4 point of interest that we can capitalize on. All right, we can capitalize on this point of interest here to see if we can have a reaction of this point of interest. All right, so basically what we're saying is that if this H4 point of interest here fails and price breaks below it, we want to see price come into this other point of interest before we see a rally to the upside again. All right, so basically on DXY on the 4-hour, that's what we expect. But let's look at the 1 hour. Do we have anything on the 1 hour? Well, what I can see on this 1 hour is this 1 hour demand zone here. All right, why is that demand zone attractive to me? Because of this imbalance that exists here. All right, so I want to keep an eye on that demand zone in case this fails, so price will come into this demand zone. All right, this 1 hour demand zone before we can see any form of rally to the upside. Before we can see any form of rally to the upside. All right, guys, so that is about the DXY. That's about DXY. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get to euro dollar and see what euro dollar holds. Now, as you can see on euro dollar, all right, let's look at this. Let me euro dollar weekly time frame. Let's check that first. Now, as you can see on the weekly time frame of euro dollar, all right, we have this multi-year lows here, this multi-year lows. Now, if this multi-year lows hold, then we expect price to retrace and to an OB or a point of interest upward here. All right, this multi-year low, which happened around 2017, I think, yes, 2017, and now price is back to that multi-year low. All right, and is that multi-year low is crucial to us, because if price breaks below this multi-year low, if it closes below this multi-year low, then be sure that price will go to take out this relatively equal lows here for a further push downward before we can see any form of rally up. All right, but let's get to the daily time frame and see what we can find on the daily time frame, because weekly time frame we are clearly bearish, and so we want to take advantage of the trend to go with the trend. All right, now on the daily time frame you can see the price violated structure here. All right, now when price violated that structure, we find an OB sitting here, this OB here. Can you see this OB here? We want to see that OB. All right, so that's our OB there, and on the daily time frame we want to see price rally up. All right, we want to see price rally up. Just a minute, guys. Okay, so we want to see price rally up to this point. All right, on the daily time frame before dropping. That's what we expect to see from price this coming week. All right, that is on the daily time frame. But then again, look at the daily time frame very, very well, and then you discover that we have this equal highs here. Take a look. We have this equal highs here. All right, so what do you think is resting above these highs? Liquidity, of course. Money is resting above those highs. Do you understand that, guys? Let me All right, so liquidity is resting above these highs that you see. All right, this is relatively equal highs. All right, it's relatively equal highs. So money is resting above, and don't be alarmed, guys, if price should come to this point of interest here. Let's take a look at this point of interest. All right, don't be so alarmed if price should come to this point of interest, having broken this structure here to the downside. All right, having broken this structure to the downside. All right, so don't be alarmed to see price. All right, if you are alarmed to see price come into this rally up and take out all the money here, you sweep the liquidity here, and then bump into this OB here. All right, this daily OB before dropping. Don't be alarmed to see that happen. That is a possibility in the market. All right, I want you to know that. That is on the daily time frame. All right, that's on daily time frame. Let's just remove this now for now. All right, and move on. Now let's get to the 4-hour time frame and see what the 4-hour holds for us. Now on the 4-hour, you can see that here we have this point of interest. We're seated here. We have it. We're seated here. All right, on the H4 time frame, and we also have this point of interest here. All right, these are point of interest that we need to pay attention to. All right, so those 2 points of interest on the H4 time frame is either price will come to this point of interest before dropping, or it will go into this very point of interest before dropping. All right, but clearly we are bullish on, we are bearish on Euro USD. That's the 4-hour. All right, that's 4-hour scenario. But if we go to the 1-hour, let's check if we have anything on the 1-hour. Well, what we can say on the 1-hour is that price has mitigated out of this 1-hour will be here. This 1-hour will be, as you can see, price has already mitigated out of it, and price is coming back up. So we do not know. We want to see what price we do. All right, we want to see what price we do. But in the event that price breaks that multi-year lows, I told you, if it breaks the multi-year lows, then you should expect price to move down a bit to clear the lows that I showed to you, the multi-year lows that I showed to you. Okay, guys, that is about Euro USD. All right, so we go to GBP USD, pound dollar. Let's get to pound dollar now. Pound dollar weekly time frame. Let's get to the weekly time frame first. Pound dollar. Now, as you can see on the weekly time frame, check, there is this break of structure here. All right, there's this break of structure here leaving this OB. All right, but you can refine the OB to this candle here. But for the purpose of those who are not very good at reading structure or refining their OB, let me just do this one out. All right, now as you can see, price has just come into this weekly demand zone. All right, price has come into this weekly demand zone. If this weekly demand zone holds, that means price is going to move retrace to this weekly point of interest. All right, so but let's go to the daily and see what the daily time frame is doing. All right, now on the daily, price is clearly at that demand zone. As we can see, price is clearly at that demand zone, and we have this break of structure here. All right, if you want to say from here, let's say from here, this is a break of structure. All right, so we have this break of structure, and there is this OB that is sitting here. Is this OB sitting here? All right, That's how we'll be sitting there. Our daily will be sitting there. So what do we expect from the daily? Well, we want to see price go up into this daily supply zone before dropping. All right, that's what we want to see on the daily time frame. But let's get to the H4 and see what the H4 is doing. Let's see the H4, what we expect from the H4. Now, as you can see, there is this demand zone that is sitting here clearly. Very clear demand zone here. Can you see that, guys? And we have this break of structure. All right, we have this break of structure here. All right, so we want to see price rotate back up into this point of interest here. So we must keep an eye on this point of interest on the H4. We want to see price go into it before dropping to the downside. All right, that's what we're expecting from the H4 time frame. Now let's quickly get to the H1 time frame and see what price holds for us. Now on the H1 time frame, you can see that there is this point of interest sitting here. All right, there's this point of interest sitting here. Can you see that, guys? Now, why is that point of interest interesting to me? It is interesting to me because of this this imbalance here. That's why that point of interest makes a lot of sense to me. So we want to see price push into that hourly point of interest. All right, push into this hourly point of interest before dropping. All right, it's a possible scenario. All right, so we need to understand that very well. Now from there, let's get to the next step here. AUD USD, Aussie dollar. Let's go to the weekly time frame again. All right, and Aussie dollar. As you can see, Aussie dollar on the weekly time frame. All right, let's see what is going to happen there. The weekly time frame. Well, Aussie dollar weekly is not giving us a clear, as you can see, price is ranging here. It's not giving us any clear see, price is ranging over there. Can you see that, guys? So we want to go to the daily and see if we have anything on the daily that can give us proper direction. Right now, as you can see on the daily, we now have this clear point of interest here. So let's get back to that weekly. Let me see one more thing on the weekly time frame. All right, well, on the weekly time frame, we can see price has violated this structure. All right, we can see price has violated this structure to the upside. Now that is a violation of structure to the upside, remember. All right, so this becomes our low and this becomes our high, isn't it? Now this low has to be taken before we can have any form of interest to trade this dollar, Aussie dollar. All right, there must be a break of this very low here if we want to trade this pair. We want to wait for price to close below this low. All right, we want to see price close below this low. All right, and then we go to mitigate out of this OB here. All right, the weekly point of interest before we see any form of pushing down. That is on weekly time frame. That's what I can see on the weekly time frame. But this level is key. Now let's get to the daily time frame. Let's get to the daily time frame. Now remember, this level on the daily time on the weekly time frame is here. So we are expecting price to come to break this low here, to break this low to the downside before we see a push to this OB here. This is a clear OB sitting here. All right, it's a clear OB sitting here on the daily time frame. All right, even though price has violated internal structure here, take a look, has violated this structure here to the downside. All right, well, if we find any retracement in this week that we want to go into. If we have any retracement from here, well, perhaps we should be looking for price to move to this very supply zone before dropping to the downside. All right, that's what we should look at. But in the scenario, in the case that price now pushes down, we want to see price push down below this very low here. All right, push down below that low before we can look for a rally either to this point or to any other point of interest that the daily time frame will print, and then we see a drop to the downside. All right, that is what we're expecting from the daily time frame. So essentially, we want to wait for price to break this low. But let's check the 4-hourly time frame and see what is happening there. Is there any further? Now on the 4-hourly time frame, all right, now look at what is happening on the 4-hourly time frame. This low is crucial on the 4-hourly time frame too. All right, this low is crucial on the 4-hourly time frame. Take a look, this very low. Price has to take this low. All right, if price takes that low on the H4, that's when this OB here will become relevant to us. That's when this OB will become relevant to us. All right, but as it is, until price breaks this low, we do not regard this as an OB just yet. Can you see that, guys? So that is what we expect from the H4 time frame of Aussie dollar. Now let's get to the 1 hour. Can we see anything on the 1 hour? Well, this low is crucial. We want to see a break of this low. If price breaks this low to the downside, then we must start looking for this OB here as a potential supply zone, or we look for this OB here as potential supply zone. In actuality, this is an OB right away here. All right, because whether you like it or not, price has violated structure to the downside here. All right, this place, price has violated structure to the downside. All right, so we have a clear OB sitting here. I have a clear OB sitting here. All right, we have a clear OB sitting there, and it has not been mitigated. And again, look at this very huge, look at this very huge imbalance. Can you see this huge imbalance here, guys? Be sure that price will have to fill that imbalance up and bump into our OB before dropping. Be sure that at some point in time, price is going to come back to that to fill up this imbalance and bump into this OB before we see a drop to the downside. Do you understand, guys? Please, I need you to understand what we're talking about here. All right, I need you to understand that very, very well. So this is our 1 hour OB, but in the case price breaks this very low here to the downside before retracing, this will become an OB for us to keep an eye on. All right, so that's about Aussie dollar. Now we go to USD JPY, weekly time frame. All right, weekly time frame. Take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 straight weeks of rally, of strong rally. You understand that, guys? So the dollar yen is simply doing exactly what the dollar index is doing. Okay, now we don't have any form, there's nothing here to give us information on how we can capitalize on this uptrend, but let's get to the daily time frame and see what the daily has for us. Now, as you can see on the daily time frame, now you can see that price has validated structure here to the upside. All right, leaving this OB here, this weekly point of interest, or demand zone if you like. Alright, that's left that demand zone. Alright, so I mean on daily time frame, I need to say. Now we want to see price rotate back down into this daily POI before we see any further push to the upside. Alright, that's what we are expecting to see on the daily time frame of dollar yen. And then let's get to the 4-hour. Let's go to the 4-hour. Now on the 4-hour, we are still doing the same thing. We are still talking about the same thing. We still want to see price come into this point of interest here. All right, before we see a further push to the upside. All right. Now, what you can do, you can refine your OB to this OB here. All right, you can refine this higher time frame point of interest to this OB here. All right, that's on the H4. Now on the 1 hour, do we have anything that is contrary? Okay, on the 1 hour, take a look. We have a break of structure here. All right, we have a break of structure here. Can you see that, guys? Let's see. We have this break of structure there. All right, and we have the 1 hour will be sitting right here. We have this 1 hour will be sitting right there. All right, so why do you think I have interest on that 1 hour point of interest? It's because of this huge imbalance here, guys. This huge imbalance, you need to see this imbalance, huge imbalance on the H1 time frame. All right, so certainly what we're expecting is for price to rotate back down, now fill this imbalance 100% and then drop into this hourly OB before we see another push to the upside. All right, that's what we are expecting. So let's that's about dollar yen. Okay, that's about dollar yen. Now we go to dollar chef. All right, we go to dollar chef and weekly time frame. Weekly time frame. Let's look at what is happening on the weekly time frame of dollar CHF. All right, now there is a clear break of structure here. There's a clear break of structure here, and don't forget, sorry guys, there's a clear break of structure here, and don't forget, all this also broke structure, all this broke structure, and we have 1 2 3 4 consecutive buy candles, very strong candles, strong momentum on USD CHF, strong momentum, guys. Can you see that? Now, because price has broken structure to the upside now, and we know we are bullish on the weekly time frame, so we go to the daily time frame and let's find out what we have on the daily time frame. All right, let's check what we have on the daily time frame. Well, on the daily time frame, we have this point of interest here that we should keep an eye on. This point of interest, should keep an eye on that point of interest, because we expect price. All right, I don't know why my this thing is hanging. All right, so we should expect price to rotate back down into this daily point of interest, this daily point of interest. All right, we want to see price rotate back down into this daily point of interest before we see a further push to the upside in line with what the dollar index is doing. All right, so that is on the daily time frame. Now we quickly go to H4 time frame. H4 time frame, and as you can see on the H4 time frame, price has come into this very OB here. Whether this OB will hold price or not, we do not know, but we are trading what we see Oh, sorry guys, not this one, not this. Sorry guys, we are trading what we see. So we want to see price on the H4 time frame. I'm sorry, we want to see price on the H4 time frame to come into this OB here. We want to see price come into this OB here before it reacts off of what we have there. I don't know what's happening to my internet connection, guys. Just bear with me, please. All right. So we want to see price rotate back into this. Gosh, I have problems with my connection, guys. Please just bear with me. Just bear with me. I don't know why. Okay. So we are expecting price to rotate back down into this H4 point of interest before we see a further push to the upside. All right, that is about the H4 time frame. But let's look at the H1 time frame. What do we have on the H1 that we can work with? Well, as you can see, price is ranging here. Well, the likely point of interest I will be keeping my eyes on is this point of interest here on the hourly time frame. See that, guys? That's where I'm going to be putting an eye on. Why? Because of the imbalances, or the imbalance here, even the imbalances here. All right, there are two imbalances that are priced. We need to fill up. Price came here. This can be a liquidity that price will come down to take out before bumping into this H1 time frame. So essentially, we want to see price do something like this. We want to see price come down, take out this low, clear the liquidity below this low. All right, this is equal lows here. Can you see, guys? This is equal lows. All right, clear the liquidity below that low, and before it bumps into that point of interest to see higher prices upward. All right, that's what we're expecting on the H1 time frame. Don't forget, let me mark out this equal lows for you to see clearly. Don't forget, this is an important level in the market. This equal lows. What do you think is resting below this equal lows? Of course, money is resting below it, and then price will certainly come to take out the liquidity of retail traders before bumping into this 1 hour demand zone, and from there we push price upward. Okay, guys, now let's get to the last pair for today. The last pair for today will be GBP/JPY, pound yen. Now let's get to the weekly time frame, guys. Let's go to the weekly time frame and see what weekly time frame holds. Now, as you can see on the weekly time frame, price has clearly broken above. All right, price has clearly broken above. All right, that is on the weekly time frame. So we have that weekly break of structure, and don't forget, this is what is known as retail pin bar. All right, and when you have retail pin bar, you're expecting a drop in price. All right, you're expecting a further drop in price. But last Friday, the market closed like as a pin bar too last Friday. All right, that leaves much to be desired. All right, we want to see what price will do this week on GBP/JPY from there. But clearly, we have this point of interest that we should take or put our eyes on. That is on the weekly time frame. You have this point of interest. I don't want us to start marking the point of interest here, but clearly we have this point of interest on the weekly time frame. But let's get to the daily time frame and see what the daily is doing. Now, as you can see on the daily time frame, now price has clearly come into this daily POI here. Can you see, guys? This daily POI, price has clearly come into it. Can you see that? Take a look. price has come into this sorry guys, into this daily OB, all right, and it's reacting off of this daily OB. Can you see that, guys? Now if we go to the H4, let's see H4, what if there is a place we can capitalize on. Now on H4 you can see that price has also violated structure here to the upside. Can you see that, guys? That's violated structure to the upside, leaving this H4 point of interest here. This H4 point of interest, clear H4 point of interest. All right, so we're expecting price to rotate back down into that H4 point of interest before going higher, or come into the daily point of interest before going higher. Now let's get to H1 and see what H1 holds for us. All right, now H1, take a look. There is this point of interest here that I will keep an eye on. All right, I will keep an eye on that point of interest. Why is it? Well, it is because it overlaps the H4 point of interest, and that is a signal that this zone, this H1 and H4 point of interest, is a very strong zone. All right, and again, the second conference is this huge imbalance that is here. Take a look at this imbalance here, guys. This huge imbalance here. All right, price will certainly come to fill it up. All right, price will certainly come to fill it up. All right, price will, sorry guys, price will certainly come to fill up this imbalance and will drop into either this H1 OB or this 4-hour OB or this daily OB before we can see a further push to the upside. All right, that is on the H1 time frame. All right, guys, now let me sound a note of warning. Now your higher time frame is just a guide, so that when you scale down to your lower time frame to go for your entry, you will not be confused. All right, your higher time frame is not meant for you to take trades from your higher time frame POI. I meant to say higher time frame POI. All right, your higher time frame POI is just a guide, so that by the time you get to your lower time frame to book for your entries, it will be easier for you to get confused. All right, in the noise that will happen in the lower time frames. All right, so I do not expect you to take trades from your higher time frame POI. And then finally, guys, please remember that this week that we want to enter soon, there are loads and loads of high impact news. They are littered throughout the week, Monday through Friday. So please, if you must trade this week, please and please be very choosy. Pick the best setups that make sense. All right, and we draw the curtain here on our weekly Let's Analyze Together. And if you are new to our channel, please subscribe right away and hit the notification bell, so that anytime we publish a new video, you'll be notified about it. And if you enjoyed this content, please do give us a like, comment and share with your friends and families. All right, and if you have not yet joined our free Telegram group, please do so just immediately, because we are going to have another round of our free masterclass. And the condition, the major condition of these two that masterclass for admission will be when you subscribe to our channel or YouTube channel and join our free Telegram group. If you do not belong to these two groups, certainly you are not qualified for that free masterclass. All right, guys, thanks so very much for listening, and I see you next week. Have a wonderful day.